Well, we're back for the discussion of Do You Believe? And if you saw our review, we said that we liked the movie more than we expected to. We recommended it to people that are into Christian movies. The movie is a little bit soapy. It's certainly preachy, but it's a Christian movie, so that's to be expected. I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't quite as abrasive with its storytelling as God's Not Dead. That it didn't have completely irredeemable characters as the sort of opposing viewpoint. You've got Sean Astin's character, and you've got his girlfriend in this, and the girlfriend sort of figures out at the end that she doesn't want to live like that, and Sean Astin is just sort of goofy and confused. But he's in so little of it, and she's in so little of it that it really doesn't it doesn't make that big of an impact on you, because they don't, those are characters that, apart from, like, Sean Astin's character doesn't have a problem in the movie. Like, he's not, you know what I mean? Like, all the other characters have something they're trying to overcome and some crisis that's going on in their lives. And he's just like, yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Yeah, I have my, my girlfriend. And
well, the same thing for the lawyer, except for there at the very end.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Those two characters are not part of the actual storyline. They're just sort of these side characters that they use to illustrate some points, and to, sort of poke fun at non-believers, which is a much subtler and much nicer way of doing what they were doing with Kevin Sorbo and Dean Cain in God's Not Dead. The characters that are there, like, I thought overall the performances were pretty good. The only acting that really stuck out to me as being bad was the lawyer character. She was just really terrible. But other than that, like, all the other characters were really good. The girl that was, like, trying to get a hold of her father, I thought she was really good. Her acting was really good.
I thought her story arc, I guess if you could call it that, her thread,
well, yeah.
It was the least fleshed.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I thought that was almost criminal because she did such a great job.
Yeah.
The character that I thought was the most interesting and the most fleshed out was Pretty Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his acting was well done. His character was woven into the story really well.
Mm-hmm.
And his was a storyline that I could definitely see happening. Brian Bosworth, he did. They should have left Brian Bosworth dead at the end. It was ridiculous that they brought him back, and even if they did, they made it seem with the words that were exchanged between him and Sean Astin, and his demeanor and his overall look, that his stage 4 leukemia was just gone, as well as the infection that he had. If the infection was going great, but the fact that they brought him back and cured his cancer and cured his...
They don't outright say that.
They don't outright say it, but they definitely...
And again, like, you didn't see God's Not Dead.
I didn't.
And so the God's Not Dead equivalent would have been, not only did he come back, but but then Sean Astin would get hit by a bus and live just long enough for Brian Bosworth to get him to convert on his deathbed.
Okay.
That's how God's Not Dead would have handled that.
Well,
moment.
they kind of had that with the lawyer and the...
Oh, yeah, they did plenty of it. They did plenty of it. But, like I'm saying, it was so much less, like... It's this weird thing to, like, describe this faith-based movie that God's Not Dead is as being so hateful and mean-spirited and talking to... preaching to the converted and not doing any attempt to, like, have a discussion or have a conversation. Both movies take place in a fantasy world. They do. They take place in this fantasy world where, in the end, if you're on Team Jesus, you win, right? And you know you're getting into that when you go to one of these movies.
Yeah.
Why did he survive? Why did he miraculously survive? They could have made it about something that the little girl wanted and made it better. That would have been a better reason for him to survive it, or to come back or whatever. But what they did, they specifically did it so that Sean Astin would be wrong. That's why it's in the movie. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought Jefferson did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
His story arc was one you saw coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
I like how a lot of the storyline was left to kind of interpretation of how it's going to go from there. Not everything was clean cut an end.
Yeah.
You definitely have a feeling on how it's going to go, but there are question marks.
Yeah, but there's like a huge family unit that ends up together at the end of the movie.
There is a hodgepodge of Sybil and
Right.
and
Sybil Shepherd and her
Steve
husband.
Austin.
Yeah.
Sybil Shepherd, Steve Austin, and the Boz and Mira Sorvino. I can't think of any of her famous characters to just toss out there.
Yeah.
But
And the little girl that can't pronounce the letter R. There was her too.
yeah, true.
So.
You know, I agree. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't like they just hammered home you were wrong and I was right. And
No,
Jesus
they
was
didn't.
good
And that's what that's my whole point. That's my whole summation of the movie is everything here was done so much softer and so much more subtly than their last movie was. Their last movie was like, you know, just like there were moments where like we were laughing and other people were like saying amen.
Yeah.
And that's not how this movie was. This movie wasn't like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there were a lot of.
You don't understand.
I don't have that
understand.
to go. I don't have that to go off of. I did fully expect to get beat over the head with it, and I wasn't, and I was almost surprised at how well the movie was done. It was. They weave the storylines together really well, and the only complaint that I could probably bring against it was they did smack you in the face with, hey, we're all these characters are linked, because when one character enters, another character leaves. and it's very much in the forefront. It's never in the background.
Right. But it says right at the beginning of the movie, like 12 souls that didn't know how they were going to come together.
Well, yeah, but
It's like a countdown to them getting together.
have a little bit of have a little bit in the background, you know, like make me work for the connections.
Oh.
And they didn't.
No, that's... I've heard other people say that this is like the religious version of Magnolia, and it's not.
No.
Like, it's not nearly as... Magnolia is way harder to understand. This tells you exactly how all the people fit together, and, you know, by the end of it, if you haven't guessed how it's going to end, or who's going to end up with who, or who's going to end up with the baby, if...
Oh, yeah.
Like, that whole thing.
And... There were scenes that clearly
that character is just like, well, guess I'm dead. Sucks. Guess you guys have my baby now.
Which is not how things work.
But okay.
But yeah, definitely.
In fantasy movie land, that's how it works.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there would be so much red tape in life. I know because I've actually seen that scenario play out through people I know. There are the one thing that I would really want them to go back and maybe make some changes when it comes to DVD or Blu-ray, showing my age. Is there are scenes where a character it's nighttime in this character, and they cross over into this character, and in the window light is coming in from the sun, but this character just entered the door and it was nighttime. So those are some things that they can fix.
You're the only person in the world that cares about that.
Oh my God, logistics are everything.
And that's the wrap up. Thanks for watching our discussion of Do You Believe? If you like the way we do these videos, please like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and check out all the written and video reviews at DaleMaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.